We all love the sound of money, and a $1,500 sign-on bonus sounds even better. That's right, Bellisio Foods of Jackson is offering a $1,500 sign-on bonus to new employees. Receive an extra $100 your first 6 weeks, then $400 after day 90, and $500 after day 180. Don't wait. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers today. That's BellisioFoods.com/careers. Come work for a company who truly values their employees. Come work for Bellisio Foods.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the morning show right here on Main Street TV. Of course, Jennifer here to start off your morning with one of my besties in the whole world. And her name is Hannah Bachtel. And Hannah is here, and we're going to talk about fun stuff like wound care.
Absolutely fun stuff.
Welcome to the program. It's so fun. I rarely get to, get to sit here with people that I've known all my life. So this is fun.
I wondered if you got to do that, but that's great. I mean, we go way back. So.
We do go way back, and what we're not going to do is tell you about some of the things that we have done. Okay? That's for another show.
That's correct. Not the morning show.
No. That'd be the late night show.
Exactly.
But no, we've had a lot of fun over the years. But Hannah is one of those folks that I like to say is a little sick and twisted. And that is because she loves all of the stuff that grosses most people out.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I do. Even from a young child, I tried to look in my own ears. I would, found anything to try to look into
to squeeze or fix
or pick or dig out. Yeah. I mean, my family can tell you that I've always been that way. My poor sister, Kate, I tortured her.
Yeah, because she was younger, so she had to take it.
She took it.
Bless her heart. She turned out all right. It's fine.
She did.
She turned out great. But no, we were laughing off the air because Hannah was the one at the slumber party. It was like, I don't know. You're in the 8th grade and she's already assessing your, whatever you've got on yourself. And
yes.
So she got it on us. But no, wound care is very, very important. And I know today we kind of want to focus on diabetes a little bit because with summer months, it's a thing where diabetics can get themselves into a little bit of trouble if you're not careful out there. So how does what makes the summertime different for diabetics per se than like winter? And it's not necessarily the diabetes itself, it's the stuff that you do during the summer.
So obviously in the summer, you're hot, and if your blood sugar's elevated, you're sweating more than most people, you're getting dehydrated faster. So that's one of the things you need to make sure and stay hydrated. The other thing is nobody likes to wear shoes in the summer.
No.
Diabetics included.
I feel you.
And a lot of times with diabetics, they have decreased feeling in their feet. And so they go without their shoes. They step on something sharp. They don't know it because they can't feel it. And they don't realize it until they have a severe infection a lot of times. And then this is why everyone says wear shoes when you're diabetic. Also, we've had patients that don't have any feeling in their feet and they walk on really hot surfaces and they have severe burns on their feet. So those things mostly related to not wearing shoes or wearing the wrong shoes. Because you could even wear like a soft-soled slipper in the house and still run something through your foot.
Sure.
And not know it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I've done that before, but obviously I can feel it. But if you can't feel it, I can imagine. I mean, if you're diabetic and you don't have the feeling, God knows there's a lot of things outside you can step on. Yes. It could be a rock. It could be anything.
There's a lot of things in your house you can step on.
Yes.
Legos. Anything like that.
Oh God, that just gives me chills to talk about.
But if they don't know it, we've had people walk on things in their shoe for a long time and not know it, and then end up with a bad wound.
Oh, it's inside the shoe.
Inside the shoe. So a kid puts their Lego in your shoe, and you put your shoe on, and you don't really know that the Lego's in there.
Oh.
So it seems crazy to us to think that you couldn't feel to that level, but they really can't feel anything.
Right. And that just is something that goes along with, having diabetes. So, um, and I know I was listening to you were on the radio a little bit ago, and I think Rodney asked you, um, you know, could a wound actually, it could work vice versa. You could end up with this wound and not know you have diabetes, and
Correct.
then be like, why do I have this like cut on my arm is not healing? And maybe that was like a godsend to you to get yourself checked out.
That's true. Having high blood sugar does decrease your healing.
And why is
So,
that?
your body's just not working like it should.
Okay.
You're dehydrated, like we talked about.
Okay.
If your blood sugar's high, and you're just not getting the glucose in the cell that will go in the area that it's supposed to heal that wound.
Okay.
So a lot of patients that we have come in, that they have a non-healing wound, and they'll say, well, my doctor's checked me several times for diabetes and I don't have it. So, they're checking to make sure, but sometimes those non-healing wounds are some type of cancer. We've had that.
Oh,
So,
yes.
these places that don't heal, it doesn't look like a normal wound. So we'll send them to dermatology, or we can do the biopsy in the wound center and find that it's actually cancer that happens. So it's just a wide variety of wounds that we see.
I'll bet.
Yes. Rashes. I mean, we even see rashes sometimes that won't heal, which honestly, we just send them to dermatology. But we don't have a lot of resources in this area for the complex stuff.
Mhm.
So we usually get a lot of those complex issues, and we just have to, we'll get them to the right place. It just might take a little time.
Well, and that's the main thing is, so, if something doesn't seem right, then it's not right. And your first stop should probably be, to go see Hannah and the gang at the Wound Care Center at Holzer, because if nothing else, you can assess the situation and then get them to the right
Correct.
spot.
And that happens periodically. We see patients with wounds, and you can tell pretty quickly that something's not right if it's not right. And then, so we see patients that have non-healing wounds that may have lupus or Raynaud's, scleroderma, those kind of skin infections. So we have to work with like a rheumatologist and those. So
Okay.
honestly, we're just another specialty to kind of flesh these things out. And, their rheumatologist may not even know they have wounds, but we're like, yes, you need to go back and see your rheumatologist. And then they can adjunctively prescribe things to help with the skin.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
So once again, like everyone working together, and even if your rheumatologist isn't within the Holzer system, that's okay. You guys work with all kind of different
We do.
places.
We call and get records. We send referral information back and forth, that kind of thing, obviously. But we see venous ulcers is a big one for the summer as well.
Okay, what is that?
So the arteries flow down, the veins flow back up. And these, the veins get...
Probably if you were a nurse practitioner, you'd know that.
I don't know.
Marla and I are like...
But the veins get flooded with fluid. It's hot outside. Everybody starts swelling, right? You've had swelling in your legs before. Well,
yes.
These patients where their veins don't pump correctly, they get really big legs. And then the legs, once they start getting bigger and bigger, it's like a balloon, stretch. The skin stretches, then they get blisters, and they get all kinds of open wounds on their legs.
Okay, and that's like, we don't want that, especially in a diabetes situation.
Right, correct.
You do not want that.
You do not want that. We have patients who have diabetes and venous, it just goes on and on. I was telling Matt, diabetes just affects every system. So
it does.
It's really important to keep that under control. But we treat venous ulcers too, so.
Okay. All right. So those are all things that, it's amazing to me that, and it's so good that we have the Wound Care Center right here in Jackson. It's out of the hospital.
Right.
Location. But then you also have a location in Gallipolis?
Gallipolis,
And you work both?
I do work both.
Okay.
The one in Gallipolis is not like in the hospital. It's behind the travel lodge.
Okay.
So it's really nice. Obviously, it's brand new. Couple years, 3 years old, maybe almost 3 years.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
But it's both centers have excellent staff, and they all are the same as me. They're
all sick and twisted is what she's
they're
trying
all
to
sick
say.
and twisted. They like this. They like the ooey stuff.
You're like Dr. Pimple Popper, but but it's like worse.
Ooh, we should start an episode.
Can we do that, Marla? Okay, she's going to make a call.
Oh, let's do it. But the staff are committed to the patient. You know, we see them at their worst, and we just want to make them better.
Yeah.
And like I said, the new staff that come in are amazed at how quickly things start turning around for the patients. And
yes,
there's nothing like having a patient come in and saying, "I feel so much better. I'm so glad I came." So those are the reward. Yeah, those are the rewards that we get for the ooey gooey. We love the ooey gooey. So if you're ooey gooey, don't be afraid to come see us. We will take care of you.
Hannah loves it. The grosser,
right.
the better.
That's right. That's right.
No, so what are some of the other, obviously diabetes is an issue. I know I had a family member that just had poor circulation in general, which is kind of what you were referring to earlier, but it got completely out of hand. So what are some of the other things during the summer, especially, that you see at the wound care center that doesn't have anything to do with having diabetes or whatever?
So a lot of it is
fishing hooks.
Yes. Yes. So we haven't seen any fishing hooks, but we've had accidents while fishing. So, fishing plays into that.
If you have that, fish hook and you're stuck in your cheek and it gets infected, come see her.
We'll get it out first. But so yes, any kind of accidents. Mowing accidents, trips and falls. Just generally people are out working and outside working. So any kind, tractor injuries,
burns.
Injuries,
I could see
burns,
like on your leg.
Sure.
I was on our started up our 4-wheeler the other day and had on shorts and wasn't thinking, and it doesn't take but 1 second for that thing to burn your leg.
Yes, we see lots of burns in the summer, and I was telling them injuries from fireworks.
Yes.
Which apparently Porterhouse likes to play with fireworks because they were teasing him about it. But
when he walks in the door, you're going to know what happened.
Yes. They are dangerous. Everybody likes to play with them, but
I've had a firework or a firecrackers. I was holding it and lit it, and we were going to throw it. That you were probably there. We're not. That's one of those stories that we're not going to talk about how it happened. But anyway, it just immediately went off in my hand and burnt my hand really bad. So things like that, you just have to be very careful.
Yes. Yeah. It's summer. Everybody's out and about doing who knows what, and you're going to get injured. But and like I said, if you have a question about whether you should come in, just come in and we'll take care of you and get you to the right place if you're not in the right place. So,
well, the thing is, you guys are never going to say, "Why are you here?" Like that's not bad enough for you to be here. You want people to come in because the quicker the better.
Yes, absolutely. We have patients that we've seen with terrible diabetic foot wounds that as soon as they get something little on their feet, they come back because they don't want it to get to
that out
level.
Of hand again.
Right. And that, they've had amputations in the past or something. They're scared to death. We're never going to look at them and say that you could have waited another 6 weeks on this, No.
Let's get it fixed now.
Right. And the sooner people come in, the quicker we're going to heal them, because once those wounds set up, there's bacteria and then they get these hard edges. And once those kind of set up like that, then it's harder to heal. The more acute they are, the easier they are to heal.
Sure.
And then we can tackle everything. We check for infection. We do labs. We check their blood flow, all those things when they come in, just to make sure that we have all the boxes marked and that we can heal you as quick as we can. Because we know not everybody wants to come to the doctor every week.
Well, you don't, but you also don't want to lose a limb or a foot or a toe or whatever either. So, gas prices suck, and we know that, but you need to take care of your body too.
Take care of your body. That's right.
Yeah. So back to diabetes, what would be your advice for people? And I overheard you saying this on the radio, but what would you say to people to maintain the diabetes and to make sure that you're doing all the right things. And I kind of got the gist that you were saying, just be consistent with everything.
That is a big thing with diabetes, is consistency.
Routine,
knowing, what you're eating, not really eating the same thing every day, but kind of, eating at the same time every day. And that way, how much that's going in, and you can, if you're taking insulin, how much insulin to take. Exercise is key. Walking is great for diabetics. Obviously, nobody's going to be walking today. Yeah, don't walk in your bare feet,
no.
please. But walking is excellent for diabetics, and just making sure that you're eating to fuel the body, and not like excessively eating, obviously.
Yeah.
Just because you have a piece of cake, diabetics can eat what they want, basically. I mean, they can, but you have to eat in moderation, just like anything else.
Sure.
And
like we all should be doing.
Yes, absolutely. Take care of your skin, take care of your feet. If you've got rough feet, your toenails are bad, those kind of things, see a podiatrist. It's good to get established with a podiatrist.
Which you have at Holzer as well.
We do. Yep. We have
Dr. Seth. He's awesome.
Yes. Dr. Kearney's
I
in
love
Jackson.
him.
And we have Dr. Clark and Dr. Eastman in Gallipolis. But yeah, get to the podiatrist. They can look at your feet and know if there's something mechanically that they can fix. And sometimes that's what happens with diabetics is they walk, their muscles form and their bones form a little bit differently in their feet.
Okay.
So they will get terrible calluses in certain areas, and the podiatrist can look at that and say, oh yeah, we can fix that. And then the wounds heal right up because they're not putting pressure on those areas.
Sure. Because of the way your feet are placed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yep.
So once again, this is the great thing is like, I know I've seen Dr. Kearney a couple of times. And he's just awesome. He's so nice to talk to. And because I had an issue with my foot. This is a funny story. And he said, really, you need to be in one of those boot things. And he said, but I'm not gonna, I know better.
He knows better.
Because he's like, you're not gonna run around that restaurant with a boot thing on. It's not gonna happen. So let's try plan B.
Right.
So, but yeah, they'll work with you. But the great thing is, you have that podiatrist there. You have the wound care center right there. Mm-hmm. Everybody can work together.
And our podiatrists are in the wound center too.
Yes.
A couple of them. So, I mean, it's just an adjunctive therapy. If we feel like they need to see their primary physician, then sometimes we will just go ahead and make their appointment because they're stubborn and they get home and they forget. But it's just everybody kind of working together to take care of the patient.
And that's what I love about the Holzer family, just in general, is the fact that, like, you're within the system. So, like, you're going to know, and you could call and say, hey, I was just there today, and I forget what doctor they told me to call or whatever. And everybody's going to help you out and get you in the right direction.
Right. That's correct.
And they know what's going on with you because they can pull your stuff up, which is fantastic. Yeah. All right. Do you have to... how do you get to the wound care center? And what I mean by that is as a patient, like, can you just call the number and get an appointment yourself? Do you have to be referred by your doctor? Or
excuse me. You can call and get your own appointment. So we get a lot of referrals from, different providers, primary care, emergency room, urgent care. But patients can call themselves if they have something that's not healing and they're concerned about it. They can call themselves and get an appointment.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions, James?
Yeah, we got a question about mosquito bites and things like that during the summer.
Oh, we do see a lot of bites in the summer.
I never thought about that.
I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, what do I do about that chigger right there, Hannah?
Jen.
See, I really do have one.
I'm going to take a moment to have to assess that. But
she's going to squeeze it here in a minute.
Do we need to bring the camera over to that side?
No, I can just stick my leg up there and show you. But anyway.
So we do see a lot of bites during this time of year. So
I can see that.
Mosquito bites can get nasty, just like tick bites and all the other kind of vermin out there. But
Well, number one, wear bug spray.
Yes.
You know, like protect yourself.
Protect yourself.
Yeah.
Tick bite. Yeah. I mean,
Wear
they're
sunscreen and bug spray.
sunscreen and bug spray. Don't they make it mixed?
Yeah, they do make it mixed.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
Get some of that. But as far as insect bites, yes. We see infected spider bites. We've seen infected mosquito bites. You know, if it's anything that you're concerned about, we can certainly take a look at it.
Love
but
that. You know, and this is a problem with bites is like, or you just, you know, we're all out doing landscaping and stuff, and you rub up against some weed that like your body doesn't agree with. And I did that the other day, and I didn't realize it. And I looked down, and my leg, the back of my leg, we were doing landscaping, was bleeding. And it's because I had been scratching it so much, but I didn't realize.
Right.
And then I was like, oh my gosh,
I'm going to have to go to the wound center.
I'm going to call Hannah, which I have done before.
Yes.
But no, you just, and you don't realize because or you itch it in your sleep or something.
Yeah. And a lot of
Or scratch, not itch.
a lot of chronic diseases do cause itching anyway. So anytime there's extra, you know, mosquito bites, poison ivy, anything like that, then it's really hard for people to stop scratching.
Yes. It's miserable.
It's miserable.
And especially when it's 950 degrees
Mhm.
outside, which is pretty much what it feels like right now.
And these poor people that don't have electricity right now.
Oh my God.
my goodness. I feel so bad.
It's
Yeah.
horrific. And, you know, again, and I preached this yesterday, but please, 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 if you have a family member, a friend, or a loved one, or just a neighbor, even if you can't stand them, invite them over to cool off or to take a shower or something. Like cook them some dinner or
Mhm.
do something. This is scary stuff.
Right. It's way
Be
too
neighborly.
hot. Yes.
We're way too nice of a community down here to let anyone suffer.
Right. I agree.
So don't do that.
I agree.
That's my preach again for today. But no, that could go along with the wound
Absolutely.
care with sweating and all
Mhm.
that stuff.
Dehydration, you know, you're going to walk with your shoes off because it's too hot to put your shoes on, right? So next thing you know, I mean, we joke about it, but it's the truth. These things happen. So,
No,
and
you're right.
Nobody can, you don't, like when I first took the job at the wound center, I had no idea what I was getting into.
Yeah.
I mean, but you really don't know until it happens to you or you're in that situation, all the things that can happen. And then I got, you know, when we first started working there, we all get really paranoid. Like, oh my gosh, that happened to them. Like, so it's typical, but, I mean, we love what we do and we have great patient satisfaction scores, from both centers. So we are just there for the patient.
Well, and I think that's the main thing. And it's, you know, you're a nurturer by nature.
Mm-hmm. That's hard to say.
Yeah. Thanks. I spit that right out, didn't I? I'm not going to try it again. But no, you always have been that way. And I think that's really reflective in the job that you all do. And I think that everybody that you work with out there is so kind.
Yes.
And they're very much the same as you are. So
Yes,
we want to thank you for
absolutely.
that. Because, you know, when you're coming in and you're feeling gross and bad and you know, things are icky.
Right. And you may even
and you're
stink.
embarrassed and you
Yeah.
stink.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that can happen.
And that's the thing is we just try to, you know, put yourself in the patient's shoes and know that they don't want to be like this. So we do what we can to help and get them on their way. And a lot of times they leave way better than they came.
Yes.
Which is the reward, obviously.
Absolutely. And don't be embarrassed. This is the big thing. You know, I had a family member that let something go way too long because he basically said, I smell.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go to the doctor because I'm embarrassed to go. And it ended up being a lot worse situation than it had to be. It's not going to get better on its own. If you're to that point,
it's not.
It's
you need help. You need
there's no
professional help.
Neosporin in the world.
No, no
fix
Neosporin's going to fix it. And we do have a lot of patients, I will say, that say, well, I clean it with peroxide or I clean it with alcohol. And that only acute wounds need peroxide. So just a public service announcement.
What does that mean, acute?
Like only wounds that are fresh. So like if you have a chronic wound, you don't want to put peroxide on it because it actually denatures the tissue and will make it worse.
Yes.
So just a public service announcement.
Yeah. So if you cut yourself today, you
Use
can put
peroxide.
peroxide on to flush out
Right.
the ickies. But after that, you're actually destroying the skin around it and stuff.
Correct.
Because it
Yeah,
kind of, yeah.
that's absolutely right.
Yeah. And don't put peroxide on anything that you want to stop bleeding. I know people do that though. And
Right.
if you do laundry, that's what you get blood out with because
Right.
it breaks it up. So you
Right.
don't want to try to stop bleeding with peroxide because bad things are going to happen.
That's right.
All right. Well, before we let you get out of here for the day, what are some of the, just tips and advice that you have for our viewers during the summer months, especially? And we would love to have you come back in and we'll, seasonally even and talk about things that
every season.
people get themselves into, different times. So,
Right. So basically with what we talked about with the summer, wear shoes. Everybody wears shoes, not just diabetics.
Right.
Because you do there, your increased risk of having an injury. Dehydration is always an issue, especially, the heat advisories and
yeah, it's
so
bad right now. Especially.
just try to stay hydrated. As far as the swelling in the legs, those kind of things, go to the doctor and let somebody help you instead of dealing with that constant swelling in your legs and that can cause open wounds. So that's the other thing is venous ulcers. It's chronic management, just like diabetes.
Okay.
You have to take care of it every day. It doesn't go away. And a lot of times patients don't realize that. They just think, oh, the swelling's down and I'm fixed. And that's not always the case. So, and swelling is going to be increased with this heat, that kind of thing. So,
Oh, huge.
yeah. Sunscreen. Everybody wears sunscreen.
Bug
and
spray.
bug spray.
Sunscreen. They do make a combo. We have established that.
So, yes. I don't know what else. Just stay cool. Stay cool.
Stay cool. Stay hydrated. Do all the things that you need to do. And if you are diabetic, get into that routine. And you're right, because then your body figures out how to manage itself. I feel like.
Yep. Routine is. I mean, you can't eat salads one day and a box of Twinkies the next. It just doesn't. It's not going to adjust well. So, and I'm not a diabetes specialist.
That sounds like a compromise to me.
I ate a box of Twinkies yesterday, so I'm going to eat that salad today. It's all good.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah, no. Your body's like, what are you doing to me? Oh, my gosh.
Right. I will say, once I started working in the wound care center, I did start taking care of myself a whole lot better.
I'll bet.
Because you see the people that really struggle, and they say, if I would have known what my body would do, at this age, I would have taken care of myself. Yeah. So it does kind of encourage you to take care of your body and do the things you're supposed to do.
Well, maybe we should all hang out in the wound care center.
I think, honestly, everybody should witness it.
Gotcha.
Yes, just because it does kind of open your eyes. I mean, there are things out there that you just don't even realize.
Yep. Well, Hannah, before I let you go, can you tell the phone number to the Wound Care Center so people know how to get a hold of you?
So the Jackson Wound Care Center phone number, 740-395-8484. And the Gallup Police is 740-446-5700.
Wow, look at you knowing all that stuff.
Well,
proud of you.
When they asked me in the morning show, I was like, wait a minute, do I know these numbers? So, and I probably gave out the fax number or something. I hope not, but yeah, I hope I know the numbers where I work.
The thing is, listen, if you just call the main Holzer number, they'll get you the right place.
They will. The phone center will get you to where you need to go.
That's
Correct.
Right. All right. Well, Miss Hannah Bachtel, thank you for spending the morning with us. We greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
One of these days, maybe we'll do a nighttime show and talk about our youth.
No.
Which was a few years ago.
Oh, gosh. Right. Almost 30 next year.
I know. Can you believe that?
I just told our ages.
I know. How do we do that when we're only 29?
I know.
It's crazy.
That's craziness. We're just magical powers.
I know, right? All right. Well, we are. I'm gonna let Miss Hannah get back to work. Thank you, Miss Marla, for coming in. It's always great to see you. And we have a special kind of presentation from Jeremiah Shaver, who went out and talked to Jackson's Fire Chief Dave Channell about a lot of the great things they have going on this summer. So that's how we're going to wind up the show. So have a great day, everyone. Stay cool out there. Check on your friends, neighbors, pets, make sure. And we'll see you right back here tomorrow with some more friends from Holzer.
Our good friend Dave Channell is here this morning, and Dave is the fire chief for the Jackson Fire Department, and he's here to talk about fireworks. We're only a few weeks away, Dave.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about fireworks and the Jackson Firemen Association. Talk a little bit about what goes into making that fireworks show happen.
Okay. Well, the first thing that goes into it, which is the most important part, is the donations from the community, individuals, businesses. Tourism is a big supporter. That's what makes it happen right there.
Okay, I know on the tourism side, I think you guys are still waiting on some funding from them.
Oh, they just give us a little bit more there last week.
Okay, good.
So that's probably the end of that for this year.
Okay, all right. And like you always say each year, it's an ongoing effort to collect donations.
Right.
So you'll accept those year round, and what's not used, you always put towards the next show. So maybe talk a little bit about that.
That's correct. Right now, the July the 3rd fireworks is already paid for. We had to pay half of it down probably a month ago when I signed the contract. And as of right now, we are short for the December one. So, anybody that still wants to donate, glad to accept it. And like you said, any money that's left over, then we carry it over for next year. We have a separate line for that. It's not used for nothing else whatsoever, just for the fireworks or paying for the music, something like that. But it's not used for nothing else. And if you donate to it, you can use a tax write-off because our association has a 501c3, so it's tax deductible.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the July 3rd fireworks, since that's only a few weeks out, and then maybe we can circle back and talk about the December ones and see if there's anything in the works for those. So let's touch on July 3rd. You said
Right, July 3rd, which is on a Sunday this year. To start the afternoon off with, hopefully around 3 o'clock, food vendors should be in Manpower Park.
Okay. Who are you expecting this year?
Well, I have Detillions out of Chillicothe, which is the ones that bought the Steve Adams concessions out of Beaver.
Okay.
And they will have the Texas tea, the big Texas sandwich that they've had here before, plus the Apple Festival. And then Gaddy's Pizza will be here. That's a big hit.
Okay.
And then I have a new one this year. It's people out of Waverly. Told me they've been in business for 37 years, and they will be doing fresh cut French fries, fried corn dogs, fried cheese.
All right, all kinds of new fried foods then down there in the park. This is going to be in Manpower Park, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Food vendors will be there in around the park area.
Starting at 3 o'clock.
Hopefully they'll be here by 3, set up, ready to go.
Okay.
And then I have kettle corn, which is can't think of the name. They're from right here in town.
Is that like the? Is it the?
It's not Granny's.
Oh, that was the one I was thinking of then. Is it the Newmans? Maybe Newmans or no, a different one. Well, anyhow, you'll have a kettle corn booth set up there.
Right.
If it comes back to you, we can touch on it.
Yeah. We have Kona Ice coming.
Okay.
And then I have a local guy that's coming in with the shaved ice snow cones too.
Oh, okay. I think they were set up down at the Festival of Flags, maybe.
Trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I seen a trailer down there. They called them like snowballs, and it was like a shaved ice.
It's Travis Neal.
It may have been him.
Yeah. So I think that pretty much covers the food. And then Kiwanis is involved. They
Okay.
will have a bounce house for the kids,
Okay.
and they will be doing some face painting there and free popcorn.
All right. And that's
and-
usually near the shelter house, right?
They're usually up by the shelter house.
Okay.
Yep. And then from 5 o'clock until 8 o'clock, Tommy Hill will be playing music out of the gazebo. And then at 8 o'clock until 10 o'clock, supposed to be a live remote. I talked to Matt, so
Okay.
that should be going on.
All right.
And then at 10 o'clock, the fireworks will go off. And prior, starting at 9 o'clock, every 15 minutes prior up to the fireworks, we will be letting a loud firework off to signify, to get people,
those booms, right?
geared up.
Yeah, get everybody excited for the fireworks.
Get everybody excited.
Yeah.
And then at 7 o'clock down on Broadway between South Street to Broad Street, line up for the parade. No registration. Anything wants to be in the parade, just show up. Cars, motorcycles, baton groups.
Okay.
Anything to make it interesting. And that will pull off at 8 o'clock. And we will set another loud boom off to signify the parade starting.
Okay.
That will come up Broadway to Main Street, make a right, and go toward Manpower Park where it will break up.
Okay. Do you know, is the marching band going to be in it this year?
I have no idea about the band with, school out and so forth.
Right. I know sometimes they march in it, I think, don't they?
I think they have maybe in the past, but
Okay.
I don't know. I'd really like to see, of course, I was never in a band, but I would like to see a community band, as many kids as went through the Jackson High School band program, which is really great. Be nice to have a community band for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like a march during the summer.
So I believe that's pretty much the fireworks end of it. Like I said,
Fireworks at dark.
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Okay.
The other thing too, we do have a new fireworks company this year. It's been Zambelli in the past. So this year we went with American Fireworks, who's out of Hudson, Ohio.
Okay.
The same people that overseen the release of the fireworks will be the same people. They're just doing it for a different company.
Okay. How much was the fireworks show this year?
$10,000.
$10,000, and about how long of a show are you expecting?
Probably about 18 minutes.
Okay. With it being a new company, can we expect anything exciting or new, or about the same type of show? Or
well, I have not seen none of their fireworks other than looking at some of the references.
Okay.
They're from up northeast Ohio, and they got a lot on both sides of the river up in that area.
All right.
So, I mean, they're pretty well known. They've been in business since 1927, I believe it was, with the Sorgi family. So, there's a lady that actually works there who's from Piketon, and she is really thrilled that Jackson has signed on with them.
Oh, good.
So,
Good. We were talking before the show. Wanted to see if you knew anything about the new legislation that's going to be starting next month regarding residence and fireworks.
Yes, I read a little bit about it.
Okay.
The fireworks, there is, I don't know the exact dates. There's certain
there's
times.
11 days a year is what we read.
There's certain times there in the month, July, New Year's, that you can set consumer grade fireworks off, where before you was not allowed to do that. Now unless a municipality or township opts out of it, then they can legally set consumer grade fireworks off.
And these are residents that can do that, right?
Right. Residents can do that.
Do you have any advice for these folks
Well,
when it comes to...
Just be careful with them. Don't want to start fires. Number one, don't want to see nobody get hurt. Just be really, really safe with them.
Okay. I know each year something that we always talk about too is those Chinese what is it, the paper lanterns that people set off.
The
You want to
Chinese,
issue a reminder for that again this season, coming up.
the Chinese lanterns, which you release, and they are typically like a hot air balloon. You light the candle in there, and it takes it up into the air. Those are illegal in the state of Ohio to set off because you have no control of them. You don't know where they're going to land on top of a building. They're very unsafe and uncontrollable. So
Right.
do not set them off.
Yeah, you still see people
Oh,
do
yeah.
it out there.
Yeah, we'll
each
see
year.
them July the 3rd somewhere in the area. Yeah.
So you were talking about the fireworks in December. Let's circle back to that real quick and talk a little bit about the. It's still a little ways off, but you said you're still needing funding for that, right?
Right.
And have you received all your funding that you can from the tourism now for that?
I feel the tourism is
Okay.
they've gave to us twice,
Okay.
and I'd say their money's pretty much
Can you
earmarked for the year.
Can you kind of explain for people that don't know, like where that money comes from, that tourism money,
Tourism
and
money,
how it's
tourism money
given
comes
out?
from the local motels. It's like a bed tax, and they give it out to organizations that will bring people in here, whether to stay more at the motel or support tourism. People come in here from out of town to the events. It's very beneficial to groups that are not self-supporting.
Okay.
Jeremiah's been to those meetings.
Yeah.
He might have something else on it.
I know it's the bed tax, like you said, and they usually try to give those funds out to folks that
and when you say they, that's the
it's-
county tourism and conventions bureau, which is made up of many members of the city
It's
council.
the
Correct?
yes,
city tourism board, not county.
Right. Yes.
That's made up of
president, council,
one councilman,
and the auditor.
Yep, that's who.
Yeah, make up that board.
That's who okays the money to be divided amongst the applications that are submitted.
Okay, but anyway, just to circle back, if people wanted to make donations to the Jackson Firefighters Association, why don't you tell them where they can send those donations?
They can send their donation, whether it's cash or check. They can send it to the Jackson Firefighter Association, 152 Pearl Street, Jackson, Ohio, and we'll get it. And any donations is greatly appreciated. Like I said, we are still short. I know money is tight everywhere with everything that's happening. But hopefully, I feel the community will come forth and we'll be able to still pull it off. This will be I believe, the third year for the Christmas one.
It seems right. Yeah.
And I think it's been very well received by the community, switching to the evening parade, and then the evening fireworks and food vendors out there. I think, and Christmas tree lighting. I think it's really been a really nice switch.
It has. It's really brought the community together, I feel, during the holiday season.
Right. And then, COVID was right there in the beginning when we switched it. So with everything with COVID, it's helped too to give people a chance to do something.
Okay. So to switch over to your fire hat here at the fire department, I know we've talked several times about the Jackson Fire Department and the need for firefighters. So maybe talk a little bit about what it takes to join, and like we've talked about before when we did that story a few months back. If you want to touch on that, Dave.
Well, we're still looking for volunteers to be on our department. It's like I've said before, if you really want to serve your community, it's very rewarding to save somebody's property, somebody's life. It's really rewarding to do that. To do it for our department, you just need to go to the city building and get an application and fill it out, and then we'll interview you, and then you have to do a physical. Then you have 1 year to get your training in, which is a 36-hour course. Usually nowadays they're running them 2 weekends and you're done to get your certification. And once you are accepted on the department, you have 1 year to get that training in, and that's a state of Ohio law. That's not Jackson Fire Department.
Okay. And like you said before, when we talked, your department has 9 active on the roll or roster, however you guys say it. But you always want to reassure the community that even though there's only 9 on the roster, other fire departments can come and help. So maybe talk a little bit about that.
Last year we signed a automatic aid agreement amongst all 8 departments in the county, and it's all broke down into sections per protocol. The dispatcher knows who to page, what area is mapped off, and what department's the closest. That was designed by the chiefs and assistant chiefs, and so we always got help coming for structure fires and alarm activations. And then if we need more help, then we can just call mutual aid and get other departments coming too. If it's bigger than what we can handle at that point, or just like this week, the heat is going to be really tremendously hot, and it would be hard on firefighters.
Okay. I know they're at the fire station. A lot of people don't realize that you guys are, a lot of you are you all volunteer, right? Is there anybody that's paid on the department?
They get a stipend for their services.
Okay.
Uh,
I wasn't sure how that worked.
yeah, they get a stipend for their services for the call.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the state just come out with a program, a task force, and they are awarding money to departments to try to help recruitment.
Okay. I remember you mentioning that before.
And I know my city auditor's office was filling ours out today to try to help people want to come that. There's different things you can do to apply for to hopefully we can get some of that money in Southern Ohio.
Okay.
I mean, a shortage is not just here in this county. It's statewide. It's nationwide. It's just like all the businesses that don't have help to run a restaurant or a store. Fire, EMS, law enforcement, we're right in there too.
All right. I know in the past when we talked, you talked about maybe doing an open house sometime in the future. Have you thought any more on that?
Yeah. Hopefully going to be able to do one this summer, and have an open house and have people stop by that wants to look at the trucks and get them interested, and try to get them to come aboard.
Okay. I know you wanted to talk a little bit about this event isn't until August, but you want to talk a little bit about Pig Iron Day.
Yes, this will be the 29th year for Pig Iron Day. We took it over in the 10th year, and we've kept it going from where Tom Evans, Ron Speakman, Robin Pucker, and Ed Henderson started this, and we've kept it going, and it's really been a good deal. I mean, it's low cost food, free water, free pop, hot dogs, pork sandwiches, plain or barbecue, brats, and then we cook beans over the fire, cornbread, and then I just brought on board Red Brush Band is going to be there this year.
Oh, okay.
They haven't been there for several years.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. They were down at the Festival of Flags in May. It sounded really good.
Yeah, well, they were out at Rowdy Saturday night, so I stopped there and talked to them, and they said, yeah, they was be interested in playing.
Okay, so you got that looking forward to in August.
Yeah, and then the Appalachian Old Car Club does the car show. They oversee that part. We don't have nothing to do with that. And then I'll have
always brings a lot of cars and folks in. They have a pretty good draw for that.
As long as the weather's good.
Yeah.
People don't want to bring them nice cars out if it's bad.
Right. Usually the park's full and kind of overflows there into that side piece there between Walgreens and the park.
Yep. And then have a couple bounce houses that day for the kids.
Okay.
Kona Ice will be there also, and the kettle corn stand will also be there. So, again, a pretty good variety of food.
Okay. We'll talk about the auction.
Yeah. Then we will have the auction at 1:00, which those plaques and bars are free, starting at 11, and then the auction is at 1:00. With the plaques.
Do we
and all
know
that
what the
is
special ones are this year?
I can't
Still,
tell you that.
still
Yeah.
working on that.
No, I've already given it to Osco.
Okay.
I've already given them 2 names. We're about to run out of furnaces in
Okay.
the county.
All right.
So that's been a
So
good deal.
Then what happens?
I don't know what we'll come up with.
Okay.
But
When he says furnace, he's talking about the old furnaces that used to be around the county
right.
that used to burn on was it charcoal? A lot of them run on charcoal, right?
Charcoal and coke, I think it is.
Yeah.
But
Right.
Osco makes all of that and donates it. So donates all the bars, which is usually around 900 bars, and then about 16 plaques will auction off.
Okay. And usually, so many of those are the special ones.
There'll be 3 spatial ones, and then 3 of each one. There's 2 furnaces.
Okay.
And the number 1 of the spatial plus the regular always goes to the William Jones Museum.
Okay. So they have the whole. We'll have the whole collection down there once
Right.
you get through all the furnaces.
Yeah. Like I said, this is the 29th year, so.
Right. And you guys have done 2 furnaces, what, a year?
Yeah,
Each year.
Yeah, for the last, I don't know, maybe 8 years, something like that. We
Okay.
started that. Osco was willing to do it, and Megan down at the Lillian Jones Museum comprised a list of all the furnaces in the county, so that's how that came about.
Okay. Do you know how many there were altogether on the furnaces? I can't recall offhand, but
No, I don't know how many offhand.
I know there were
without
several.
looking at my list.
They kind of dotted the landscape in Jackson County. The
Right.
furnaces did.
That's
Yeah.
how a lot of the townships got their names, or certain areas of the county is known for that.
Right.
Like Keystone Station or Keystone Furnace, that was the name of a furnace.
Right.
So it helped form the county, the names of furnaces.
Okay. So here locally, we've had a lot of folks celebrating milestones. Pete celebrated his 50th, and we had Carman the Carman celebrating 50 years in the car business. And a little birdie told me, is it this year you're going to be celebrating a milestone at some point?
January 1st.
January 1st?
I will be on the fire department for 50 years.
So coming up this next year, you'll be 50 years. Okay. You want to talk a little bit about like when you got started with the fire department?
Well, I got put on the department in 1973. I was interested in the fire department prior to that. I used to chase fire trucks on a bicycle along with some other people that
Yeah.
used to be on there.
Okay.
And that's how I got started. I had a relative that was on Dayton Fire Department,
Mhm.
and he would come down here, and that's how I got interested in it.
Okay.
So,
So being involved for 50 years, I'm sure you've seen some different changes at how things work. Maybe talk a little bit about that.
well, back when I started, we used to wear like it was a rubber coat, and we didn't enter structures then. We fought everything through a window.
Okay.
Then it got so you started entering the structures, and then you used negative pressure ventilation. You pulled the smoke out, and now we use positive pressure. Send the air in behind the firefighters and open up a window or door, and it pushes it out. That's been a big change.
A lot of different methods then.
Yeah. Your gear has changed.
Mhm.
I mean, all your gear, gloves, boots, helmet is 10 years shelf life. And when they reach that, you're supposed to get rid of them.
Right.
And that's a big burden expense, but it also is safety.
Right.
So hoses change, trucks. I mean, you can look at how big the trucks are nowadays, and
Compared to what they used to be. I
yeah,
know the one that you sometimes used to drive in the Christmas parade. I mean, a
yeah,
lot
the Aaron's
smaller.
Fox.
Yeah, a lot smaller than some of the ones you have down at the fire station now.
Yeah. We used to have a little Rio. I think it was a 29 maybe, something like that. It was just a real small truck. Probably didn't have 100 gallon of water on it.
Really?
Yeah, that was when I started.
What do the engines hold now?
What's what?
How much do the fire engines hold now? Like your tankers
Oh,
and stuff.
well, our
Gallon
tanker
wise.
holds 2,000 gallons.
Really?
Most of our
Wow.
trucks hold 1,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's definitely come a long way.
Oh yeah, a lot more water, a lot more cost.
Yeah.
I mean, right now they're saying it's taking about 18 months to even get a fire truck built because they can't get parts.
Okay. When you was talking about the fire gear, I know when I was up in Wellston and I'd visit the fire department there, I was talking to Chief Pelletier, Ryan Pelletier. They had a levy passed up there recently that kind of helped with purchasing gear, and he was telling me about the that shelf life, like you said, of 10 years. And you look at, he said even if it looks brand new, if it's 10 years old, it still has to be switched out.
Yeah, everything has a date of manufacture on it, and that's what they go by.
And what to go by. But he was kind of. You want to talk a little bit about the ensemble, like what all you wear.
Well, of course, you have your helmet, and then you have your fire coat, which is lined to keep you from getting burned. And then you have your fire pants, same deal there.
Mhm.
They're lined also. And then you have boots, and then gloves, and then of course your SCBA for self-contained breathing apparatus that they carry on the back. A lot of people think that's oxygen. It's not oxygen. It's just Class D air. Same air that's, we filter it through different processes to use that because we have a breathing air compressor machine, and it goes through different filters to make it grade D.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that. I always thought it was oxygen, I guess.
No, it's not oxygen. It's called grade D air.
Grade D air.
Yep.
And you guys have a machine, machine there at the station that.
Yeah, we have a compressor there that takes the air, just the regular air, and purifies it to meet that standard. And then four times a year, it's tested and sent to Florida to make sure it meets that grade D certification. And then the machine itself is serviced twice a year. A company out of Columbus comes in, changes the oil, checks it all out to make sure it's functioning properly.
Okay. Anything else you can think of you want to touch on about the fire department or
No.
anything like that?
The events and stuff that's coming up, just come out, support the
Yeah.
vendors. have
One
fun.
more time. Tell them when to expect to see fireworks.
July the 3rd, which is on a Sunday this year, at 10 o'clock on Sunday evening is when the fireworks will go off. Starting at 3 o'clock in the Manpower Park, there will be food vendors, Kiwanis will be there, bounce house, free music from 5 to 8 with Tommy Hill playing out of the gazebo, and then 8 to 10 be a live remote on 96.7, and that's where the fireworks soundtrack will be going off at 10 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate your time, David, and we're so tomorrow on Main Street TV, Gail Games, Vice President with Training and Organizational Development from Holzer Health Systems, will be our guest. So be sure to tune in for that. And I think we're going to go ahead and sign off. Thanks for stopping by, everybody.